I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea how to start this video. It's 2025. Here's my office. Uh, for those of you that have been watching a long time, you know that I haven't uploaded in 5 months. Part of that was I just needed to refresh my creative space and kind of figure out a direction for this channel. So, to do a quick little overview, I've got this kind of broken into 5 areas. Right here is kind of the main camera gear cart for filming, whether in or out of my office. Right over here, I've got a new kind of gear review background studio space. Right here is my main work desk. This is where I do 90% of my life. Over here is my 3D modeling / gaming computer setup, and right here is my 3D printers. And in the corner, we've got a gear closet full of gadgets and trinkets and tech that's all waiting to be used. So, without further ado, let's start right here with the gear cart. Yeah, this is as awkward an angle for me to film at as it is for you to watch, so it's mostly going to be B-roll, but just a quick overview. Got this cabinet from IKEA. It kind of matches a couple other things in the space, so it just works out. On top of it, I've got these light bulbs that I set up in a previous video. This one indicates if the front door's open. This one indicates if the human garage door is open. You know, not the one the cars go in, but the one that goes into the backyard. So as you can see, somebody's got the garage door open. Additionally, I've got a power strip on here. These are the DJI mic batteries, Sony camera batteries, and this is the DJI drone batteries. Pretty simple, kind of keep this space clear just in case I need to pull out anything. I'll drop my keys, my wallet, all that kind of stuff on here when I'm walking in here and don't need it. That's also a good kind of workspace to assemble gear. This top drawer is all of my Sony equipment. I've got my cameras and my lenses over here. Here's another kind of portable battery charging bank, a bunch of SD cards, camera cleaning stuff. I also will keep tools and knives apparently, and my AirPod Maxes. Moving down a drawer, we've got random audio equipment. Here's a bunch of different microphones. This is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 review coming on the other channel shortly. And then over here is my Air Mini 3 whatever Flymore kit. Again, I'll do more about that on the other channel. Down here is just kind of all the carrying cases and extra space. DJI always sends their products with these sweet little bags, and then this is a camera cage, and it's kind of just empty space. And this bottom rack is going to be random mounts, tripods, sliders, that kind of gear. So, quick overview, it's kind of more of like a behind the scenes look, because this is never really in any videos until now. Overall, not my favorite piece of equipment I own. As you can hear, the drawers don't slide all that smooth. There's a kind of hollowness to them, but like I said, it matched the other things and it was relatively cheap and met my needs, so figured why not get it. All right, moving on. And this is the studio setup. If you have organically discovered my other channel, Sam's Gear Closet, this will be a pretty familiar background to you. When I first started this main channel, I kind of wanted it just to be a sporadic collection of all of the different things that I like to do in life. And I quickly got into the rabbit hole of doing product reviews, mostly smart home gear. Really like that stuff, but it's kind of not what I wanted to do with this main channel. So I decided I'm just going to move that stuff over to a second channel that's more kind of gear overviews, unboxings, reviews, kind of stuff on that channel. And then I can go back to doing stuff on this one. I know that'll disappoint some of you who found me through all that smart home stuff. I'm sorry to see you go, but I'd love to have you stick around and see the different projects. Got a couple of them coming up. But anyway, quick overview. Here's some random backpacks that I have that I like to review. Big Formula One fan, so I'm collecting a lot of the Lego sets. I kind of like the 2 music posters I have because they're so vastly different, but it kind of highlights how vastly different my interests are. If you know A Day to Remember, they are very much like a pop punk metal band, and Luke Combs is not. Up here we've got some of the robots that I've built. I've got another one coming. And then on this side, I've just kind of got more of like the tech stuff. So this is the very first NAS that I built. It's a Raspberry Pi and an SSD inside a little metal case. Kind of a fun project just to get started into this world. Got a Nintendo Switch, the first keyboard I ever bought, and the first Mac products, Apple, I guess, products I've ever had, little microphone. Yeah, anyway, so it's kind of like a just more stale background so that I can just focus on the product and not worry about this. Plus, it's a little better on the eyes than just flat wall behind me. Um, Additionally, if you have seen that other channel, you will know that I've always had this kind of on top of here. But actually, this used to be the stand that 3D printers are on. It was a little too wide for the area. I rearranged the whole place, and then in my most recent video, which I don't know if it came out yet, I tried to unbox the 3D printer and there's just no space for it. So now, this is a cart. Gives me a lot more space here. I'll have to figure out camera angles and all that, but kind of frees up the space, allows me to do a lot more, and then more movement. So, it's a fun little update. Fun little space, and then also when I'm not using it, I can just turn this cart sideways and get it out of the way. Makes it a little more free in here. All right, moving on. All right, so as I mentioned at the start of the video, this is probably where I spend 90+% of my time in this room. This is my main desk. This is where I do my full-time job as well as my personal projects, a lot of video editing, a lot of coding on personal things. Anyway, this is kind of where I spend most of my time. The big issue that I have with this desk is when I bought it, I bought the biggest one they had and it was 70 inches wide, and it just makes it a pain to try to fit in different spaces. I would prefer if it was smaller and actually an L-shaped, because that would just kind of make it a lot more functional, a lot more usable, but standing desks are not cheap. I've got some projects coming up. They're going to take quite a bit of my money, so we're sticking with it, and that's why it's kind of faced into the back corner here, because every time I've tried it in a different orientation, it just kind of sucked. So, just a quick overview of everything that's going on here. This is a 70-inch by like 32 inches sit-stand desk from Autonomous. It was one of the first brands I found. I've had this since, I believe, 2018, maybe 2019 timeframe. So I've had it for a while. It's seen better days, but it's a good desk overall. Here in the back, it's kind of hard to see, I have my MacBook Pro for my job. In front of it, I have my personal MacBook Pro, and then over here, I just got the brand new Mac Mini. Maxed that thing out. I am trying to learn some native development as well as work with some LLMs, so I figured why not have a little dedicated machine for it. But I've actually got a better plan for it coming up in about 4 months' time. Big teaser, I know, but that's where we're at. Beneath it, I've got the original Scarlett 2i2. It's just the audio deck that powers my 5-inch Rocket KRK Rocket 5s. They're decent studio monitors. I really love the quality of sound as well as the volume, even though they're not made for volume, but don't tell anybody. In front of it, I've got the the Mac keyboard with the numpad and the fingerprint reader, as well as the Logitech MX Master 3 Mac Edition. Don't at me with this. I've tried multiple different keyboards. This one just switches most seamlessly between my different machines, so I just keep going with it. I do prefer some other keyboards. We'll go over them. And then, of course, the big monitor is a Samsung 49-inch ultra-wide. It's not the OLED, but it works well. I recommend it if you really like tech. Otherwise, it's extremely expensive and kind of obtrusive, much like the desk. It's so wide, it's really hard to get into a lot of different places. But it's like having two monitors side by side without the bezel in between, so pretty awesome. Behind it, I have an Amaran LED panel. It's mostly just for putting light on that back wall, just kind of break up the scenery. But I've also found that sometimes it's a little dark in this room and I can turn it around and put light on me for video calls. So that kind of works out. On top of it, I've got an Anchorwork 4K webcam. As you can see, I use my MacBooks closed, so I can't use their camera, so I have that built-in feature. And then, yeah, beyond that, I've just got like a little phone stand and a knockoff Hydrocell vacuum water bottle. Oh, and also, I bring this up in every video. This is my office chair that I got from a previous company. I have no idea what the brand is, super comfortable, but I'm actually thinking about replacing here shortly. So, there's my desk setup. Oh, in the back, I have a little 3D printed cup with my whiteboard markers, and then some dog training treats and a little clicker, so I can do some dog training while I'm at my desk, just to keep them entertained, just to keep them on their toes. And I have all these whiteboard markers because I personally love to set up a to-do list for the day with a whiteboard, and that way I can rearrange priorities, I can cross things off, and then I can do a clean slate every day. So I just prefer that over pad and paper, which I used for years. It's just something that I've started to use. So I've just got little 8.5 by 11 whiteboards. All right, moving on. All right, first things first, I will get it out of the way because I know that it would bug me if I was watching this. Yes, I have Jolly Ranchers over there. That water bottle says stay salty, and behind it is a bunch of Element electrolyte packets. I find that staying hydrated with a lot of electrolytes throughout the day is kind of the equivalent to caffeine for me, so I like to keep them there. And then I also like a little hit of sugar, and Jolly Ranchers take that sugar and extend it over a longer time without giving me more sugar, so it's just kind of like a fun little treat. Anyway, I'm not sponsored by any of those, so they're just kind of tucked over the way, and we're not going to talk about it. Beyond that, this is my extremely overkill gaming PC that I built and did custom water cooling in. It is way more powerful than I'll ever need, but at the time I was really into 3D modeling and I wanted to do a lot of work with Blender and renderings, and so I built this, and now it mostly gets used to help me design parts for my 3D printers to print. So not a horrible use case for it, but I really don't game on it as much as I should. Currently I'm kneeling because I share the chair and I didn't feel like wheeling it over here. So to go over it, this is a desk from IKEA. As you can see, if I don't go top of the line, I go pretty basic. It's got this fun little rollout desk that you can't see, so here's some B-roll of it. This computer is a Intel i9 13900K with a RTX 4090 and I think 128 gigs of DDR5 RAM. And then of course it's water cooled, and I probably have, I think it's 32 terabytes of SSD / NVMe storage in there. So like I said, very overkill, never run out of issues, but this will be fun to do random things on. This will probably end up running all of the LLM models that I was talking about because I'm doing something else with that Mac Mini. This is a 34-inch Gigabyte gaming monitor. Here's a Corsair gaming mouse. And then this is a Keychron mechanical keyboard. I used it quite frequently with my Mac when I just had the one and I did everything on it. Now it's over here, and ignore the cable management because I just don't care, because I'm not at this desk enough to get a USB cord that is just 1.5 inches longer to make it look somewhat better. So there you have it. And now we'll do the final kind of section of this. All right, once again, we are kneeling because it's super hard to stand next to something that is significantly shorter than you and make it look good. So here is my, well, overall, this is my 3D printer kind of section table, if you will. This is the Bambu Lab X1 Carbon. I got this on their Kickstarter, so this is one of the very first versions of this, so a couple things have changed, but overall it's roughly the same. I really like this printer, love this little screen, no complaints about it, but recently it's kind of been acting up on me, and maintenance is never fun, so why do maintenance when you can just buy a second one? No, honestly, I just had to get a couple parts for this, and when I was on Bambu Lab's website, they were having the end of the year sale, so I picked up this second one because I needed more print capacity for a project that I'm currently working on and getting prepared to share with all of you. Between the two of them, I actually do find myself end up using the P1S more. Something about the layer lines, they're just a little bit cleaner on some of the things I'm doing, plus this has the textured PEI plate in it. Love it so much, I ended up buying a second one for this one so that this will get better, and then I'm working on tuning this one through whatever settings I screwed up when I didn't know a whole lot about 3D printing and got started. Beneath it here are a bunch of spare parts. This is just a little bin full of components, and I do this to keep it cleaner looking. Over here are a bunch of mini spools. I kind of wanted to test out a bunch of different colors, but now that I have Bambu Lab printers, they don't work with them, so I just kind of leave them there to hide all of the crap behind. Beneath it is all of the filaments that I have stored, purchased, whatever. I know it's cringe if you're in the 3D printing world, but I actually love Bambu products because they just work so well with each other. They might be a little bit more expensive, but it's just easier. So mostly that, and I'm working on expanding to different materials beyond PLA because of use cases, and I just want to kind of try. And as you can see, I got the AMS with both of them. I just think the multicolor printing is pretty awesome. Plus, it's kind of like a dry box. Not really, but in my world, I'm treating it like one. Like I said, on the that new Sam's Gear Closet channel, the most recent video will be a unboxing and initial prints and review of the P1S. So if you're interested in 3D printing and you want to check that out, I'll link that video down below if it came out in time. Otherwise, just go check that channel. All right, and then because I know everybody loves to see behind the curtains, as they say, we'll show you what's behind this door. All right, doing this one a little more vlog style because it's just kind of a tight space to get into. So down here we've got a shelf. Here's all of the boxes for my Mac products. The shelf above it is all of my camera gear. Up there is my first pre-built NAS. As right here we've got a ZimaCube and then a couple more Ugreen NASs. I'm going to work on setting up a couple different options, and then as I promised in an old video, I'm going to put one of those Ugreen NVMe NAS sync devices in a moving vehicle. So having no moving parts is going to be actually pretty awesome. Next, right in front of it, you will see a DVD ripper because I am going to start building out a Plex media library, and why not start with some Santa products. Next to it, I have some more UniFi Ubiquiti gear that I need to set up. Right above it, I have Philips Hue products that I'm going to test out, and I might actually put those in that same moving vehicle. These are all of my pins. Up above it, we have some spare monitors. Yes, I have way too many of them. Some of them came from work, some of them from previous, now that I've switched to ultra wide. Next to it, you can see the original 3D printer, and as you can tell, I've switched away from Prusa. In that back corner, I have boxes for all of the Amaram like light gear. Here's all the bags that stuff came in. Here's random podcasting gear for when that comes back. Part of my Pokemon collection, random notepads, hats, a bunch of important documents, and then just random boxes and whatever. Here are some of the bags that I have already reviewed on that other channel that I have just hung up here. As you can see, I've got some 3D printed hooks just to get them all organized. And then this shelf is probably the one that matters to most of the people watching this. Here's a bunch of Raspberry Pis and smart home equipment that I have on the docket to test and potentially install elsewhere. Oh, and there's the old UniFi rack. Here's a bunch of keyboards, kind of hard to see because it's so dark. Whoops. Here's more keyboard components from when I built my own, and then these are all robot and Arduino kind of kits that I am working on building out. And then down below is a Starlink Mini for a future fun little project. All right, there you have it. Like I said, new year, new studio, new creative space. I'm looking forward to some of the projects I've got planned. They're going to be pretty long month projects. So stay tuned. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like. And if you've got any suggestions on a cheap standing desk, let me know down below. And I will see you around the bend.